Hello and welcome. You are about to listen to the book summary of How to Live Stress-Free in a Noisy World. This book is written for anyone who feels overwhelmed, mentally tired, or emotionally drained by modern life. It does not promise instant happiness. It offers something more realistic, inner calm. A calm that comes from simple habits, mindful choices, and a slower way of living. Let us begin. Chapter 1. Stay away from the illusion. We live with a quiet belief that life is always urgent. From the moment we wake up, there's something to reply to, something to finish, something to catch up on. Life feels like an emergency that never ends. But this urgency is not real. It is an illusion we have slowly created. People often say, "I don't have time." Yet, just a few generations ago, life was slower, harder, and less convenient, and still people had time to rest, talk, and simply exist. Machines gave us time, but screens quietly took it away. The real loss was not time, it was the gap between tasks, the pause after work, the moments of boredom that allowed the mind to settle. Today, every gap is filled. If we stop, we scroll. If we pause, we check. And when the mind never rests, stress silently grows. The mind begins to believe everything is urgent. Notifications feel as important as real life. Attention becomes scattered. Time feels faster, though it hasn't changed at all. The pressure you feel does not come from too much work. It comes from never allowing space between moments. The solution is simple. Protect your gaps. Sit without a phone. Eat without a screen. Allow silence. This is not wasting time. This is reclaiming it. When you step out of this illusion, you realize something powerful. You were never running out of time. You were just giving it away. And this is where stress-free living begins. Chapter 2. Don't chase the world. At some point in life, many people begin running faster, doing more, chasing something without clearly knowing what it is. Success, approval, security, or simply the fear of being left behind. Slowly, the expectations of the world replace our own desires. Family expectations, social standards, online comparisons. And this is where stress quietly begins. The world always asks for more. Even when one goal is achieved, another appears. The finish line keeps moving. Recognition fades. Praise is temporary. Comparison never ends. Chasing such a moving target can never bring peace. Most people are not chasing success. They are chasing validation. They want the world to say, "You are enough." But external recognition is unstable. It depends on opinions, trends, and timing. When your self-worth depends on the world's reaction, stress will always follow. The truth is simple, but uncomfortable. If you cannot satisfy yourself, you will never satisfy the world. Peace begins when you stop running outward and start building inward. Instead of chasing approval, build something within yourself. A mental wealth, a quiet confidence, a skill or creativity that grows daily. When you create consistently, even in small ways, your mind becomes grounded. You stop living only to impress. You start living to grow. And something surprising happens. When you stop chasing the world slowly begins to notice you. Stress reduces when your direction becomes clear. Life feels less like a race and more like a meaningful walk. This is how you return to yourself, and this is how calm replaces pressure. Chapter 3: Simplify to Breathe. We often believe we are living in the most stressful time in history, but the truth is, life today is safer, easier, and more comfortable than ever before. And yet, the mind feels more restless. Our ancestors lived with uncertainty and physical hardship, but they had something we are slowly losing: mental simplicity. Comfort itself is not the problem. The problem begins when comfort stops being a choice and becomes a requirement. Slowly, desires multiply. What was once enough no longer feels sufficient, and with more desires comes more pressure. Stress is not created by hardship, it is created by excess wanting. When we lose clarity about what is essential, even abundance feels heavy. Simplifying does not mean rejecting comfort, it means understanding how much is truly enough. The moment you begin narrowing your needs, life becomes lighter. You stop running to maintain standards you never consciously chose. You stop working only to keep up. Small daily choices begin to matter: pausing before spending, reducing unnecessary habits, choosing simplicity over impulse. These are not sacrifices, they are acts of awareness. Unlimited wants with limited energy create constant tension. But when you define your limits, your mind finally learns where to rest. Comparison fades, a pace becomes natural, breathing becomes easier. True luxury is not more comfort, it is more mental space. When you simplify, you create room to breathe, and in that space, stress slowly dissolves on its own. Chapter 4: Connecting with a Purpose. There is a quiet hunger inside many people, a feeling that if they knew more, followed more, kept up with everything, they would finally feel secure and complete. So they gather information, they scroll endlessly, they learn a little about many things. But instead of clarity, the mind becomes crowded. Knowledge is a gift, but when it lacks direction, it becomes noise. The deeper voice inside us does not speak through overload, it speaks through focus and silence. Purpose is not found by knowing everything, it is found by going deep into one thing. Everyone carries a natural thread, something that feels meaningful, something that energizes rather than drains. Purpose does not arrive as a sudden revelation, it grows slowly through small, consistent practice. Just 15 or 30 minutes a day of focused attention can reconnect you with who you are. When you return daily to a craft, a skill, or a form of expression, the mind settles. Confidence grows quietly. Stress loosens its grip. This practice belongs in leisure, not under pressure. It must be free from performance and comparison. Single tasking becomes essential. Doing one thing fully restores depth to attention. Purpose does not grow in distraction, it grows in presence. When you stop trying to know everything and choose to care deeply about one thing, life becomes anchored. You may not do everything, but what you do with meaning. And that quiet commitment changes how you experience the world. Chapter 5: The Real Gift We Have. There is a quiet habit many of us live with. We measure our lives by what is missing. We wake up thinking about what we don't have, what others seem to have more of, and what we still need to feel complete. This habit slowly builds stress. It pulls our attention into lack and keeps satisfaction always just out of reach. But the mind is simpler than we think. When you change what you look at, you change how you feel. This chapter is about a different way of living, by respecting what you already have. Respect is not admiration, it is attention. It begins with small acts, eating without distraction, thanking your body instead of criticizing it, using your time with intention. When you treat what you have with care, it responds with stability and ease. Money, too, changes when treated with respect, not feared, not chased, but used wisely as a tool that supports life, not controls it. Small, thoughtful choices create more calm than constant striving ever could. Gratitude is the engine behind this shift, not forced gratitude, but specific gratitude. Your breath, your sleep, one kind message, one quiet moment. When gratitude becomes daily, scarcity loses its grip. Self-respect grows through basics: rest, nourishment, movement, boundaries. These are not luxuries, they are foundations. And when you stop waiting for approval from the outside, when you begin acknowledging your own effort, stress begins to soften. Life responds to value. When you treat your body, your time, your money, and your relationships as worthy of care, you stop living in constant want. You realize something important. The real gift was never what you lacked, it was what you already had and finally learned to honor. And that is where peace begins. Conclusion: choosing calm in a noisy world. Stress-free living does not require escaping life or abandoning responsibility. It begins with a simple shift, learning how to move through life with awareness, simplicity, and calm. Throughout this book, one truth has appeared again and again. Stress is not created by work, money, or the world itself, but by how we relate to them. Life is not a straight road. Even when a smooth path exists beside us, we often choose the rough terrain, pushing harder, rushing faster, believing force will get us further. But life keeps its own hand on the steering wheel. It turns when we least expect it. When we resist those turns, stress grows. When we adjust gently, the journey becomes easier. A small correction is often enough. We began by understanding how the noisy modern world overloads the mind. Too much information, too many expectations, constant comparison. We learned that silence and simplicity are not luxuries, but necessities. We saw how chasing recognition and approval leads to exhaustion, and how choosing inner completeness reduces stress naturally. We discovered that comfort, when misunderstood, becomes a burden, and that life grows lighter when needs become clearer. We explored purpose, not as a lifelong label, but as doing something meaningful each day, even for a few minutes. And finally, we learned the quiet power of gratitude and self-respect, how valuing what you already have creates calm no external validation can replace. Many believe stress creates success, but the truth is simpler. A calm mind is more productive. It thinks clearly. It decides wisely. It works efficiently. You do not need big changes to live this way. Begin your day slowly. Limit unnecessary information. Do one thing at a time. Simplify your needs. Respect your pace. Spend time doing what you enjoy. Care for your body and mind. Practice genuine gratitude. And when life turns unexpectedly, choose calm over speed. Life is not about driving fast. It is about driving wisely. When you move gently instead of forcefully, stress fades on its own. Peace does not slow success. It multiplies it. Choose calm. Trust the journey, and allow your life to feel lighter, one thoughtful adjustment at a time. I hope this video is really valuable for you. You can get this book with description link and first comments link. Thank you for watching.